Hello. The camera's really wonky tonight, folks. I'm just gonna try to fix it. Hang on, let me just see here. Is that any better? The picture seems to be okay, just because I put the camera on a different box. But anyway, I'm gonna go with this. Anyway, let's see. We got Lance here says, "Hiya, Thrash." I'm the first. Like, yay! John Hepfors here says, "R.I.P. Barry White and Steve Air McNair." Been a lot of heavy casualties. Barry White died some. Oh, is this the anniversary of his death? He died a long time ago. I've been too busy keeping up on recent deaths. But certainly, RIP to everyone whose anniversary was today. Zubik says, "Happy 4th of July." A little premature, but Superplex, yes, in the spirit of 4th of July, happy premature 4th of July, because when it hits, I'll probably already be in bed. Keithy says, "Insert clever come in here." Thank you, yes, insert clever come in here, yes, and please. Tug says, "I'm here." Oh, and Tug, I looked on Facebook. Where are these trivia questions that you're posting, by the way? I'm dying to see your trivia questions. And oh, also you said that From Here to Eternity podcast, you say you post it live on YouTube. I was unable to find that as well. I'm just really striking out. So let me know uh, what you got, so I can try to find it yet again. Lynn says, "I'm buffering." Anybody else noticing buffering as well? David's here, says, "Hey, hey." Lynn says, "Hey, gang." Tug says, "Hey to David." Um, I'm getting the picture seems okay to me, and I wasn't able to test. For some reason, when I went to test today, it kept trying to sell me a camera app, so I wasn't able to test my equipment. But let me know. Oh, John says, "Nope, I'm cool." Oh, Zendwayne is here. Says, "Hey everyone, Zendwayne, welcome back. So glad you could make it again." Zublik says, "Everything looks great for now." Yes, we always start good, and then the catastrophic failures sort of creep in catastrophically and failure wise. Oh, Mrs. Thrash says hello to everyone. She's like, jazz hands. So yes, hello from Mrs. Thrash. Oh, and Mama Thrash is actually outside. She's actually talking to her friend from Florida, but that's a whole other story. But anyway, I'm sure she will say hello in spirit. Lynn says, "You sound good, Thrash." Changed phones. I'm starting to think it might be that phone of yours. I'm starting to think that might be where a lot of the problem is. But who am I to judge? Shannon says, "I see you like Keith. LOL. Hey, Lance Thrash and Superplex." Oh, and John says, "R.I.P. to Alan Arkin." Yes, heavy casualty, very heavy casualty. Doug says, "The trivia is on my community tab on my YouTube channel." Oh, I was looking at Facebook. I will try again. And the From Here to Paternity pre-show live stream is on the From Here to Eternity. I'm sorry, From Here to Paternity YouTube channel. I tried to find that yesterday, and I ended up something way different from yours. I'll try again. I think there's someone else who goes from here to paternity. Oh, a lot of people saying hi to Mrs. Thresh. It's very, very kind of you. Oh, and GR is here. Says good evening from Texas. GR, good evening to you. Anywhere near Colleen, by the way. Colleen is where my granddaughter was born. Her father had been a soldier, and she was born there. So I know Texas is a big, 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 big place. But if anyone near Colleen, let me know. Sean says hi to Tug and Mrs. Thrash. Geesey says, "Okay, Sean, mark me present. Thanks for your help yesterday." Yes, we counted you present in spirit. There's a lot of people saying hello, having fellowship with one another. That's half the fun of the chat. If I get one more unnecessary notification on this computer when I'm doing a live chat, I am going to wake the dragon. Dave says, nice. GR says, San Antonio. But but I know Colleen. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. San Antonio. I've heard nothing but nice things about San Antonio. Oh, RT 2000. Isn't that the Terminator? Anyway, I'll just call you RT for short. Says, good evening from Tennessee. There's that song. All my exes live in Texas. That's why I reside in Tennessee. You two should go on the road together. Let's see what else we got going on here. David says, been Texas twice. You know, Mrs. Thrash went when the baby was born. She went out when the baby was first born, and then she went out later to bring them back when they came to move in with us. That was about 15 years ago. But I myself have never been. A lot of people saying good evening to RTRTRR. And David says Riverwalk in San Antonio is beautiful. Gary Garber says, greetings everyone, I'm back. Oh, Zen Dwayne says, I was stationed in Fort Hood back in 86. My son-in-law would have been a toddler then. He was at Fort Hood 2004, 2005. The years kind of blended together. And then he served, technically served 2 terms in Second Gulf, but he was stop lost. So they sent him there 3 times. But I guess technically it was this to anyone who's been in the military, this means more to them. While he went over 3 times, it was technically only 2 tours. Unless David says, you're the only 10 I see. That was that old pickup line from years ago. Are you from Tennessee? Because you're hot. Let's see what else we get going on here. Gary Company says, Thrasher, I just spoke with Jenny. She says hi to everyone and Z as well. Oh, that was very, very nice of you to pass on our hellos. And that's Jenny Augater, for those of you who came in late yesterday. David says, long car from Minnesota to San Antonio. It's literally the other side of the country. Literally, literally. Now, Minnesota, I've been to. Minneapolis is a great city. Ziblik says, wow, I am touched to be recognized by the great beauty. And Gary says, message retracted. And a message retracted to you as well, by the way. And then he says, geek Dr. High. Lynn says, to Gary Carpenter, wish I could talk to her. Oh, that's sweet. Anyway, oh, come on, guys. 12 of us in, only 3 likes. Am I going to have to get Darrell in here? Zendwayne says, so what's on the agenda for tonight? Here's the situation. Normally speaking, Ian C. and I do a show on Monday night, and there's usually some kind of theme. Ian C. was unavailable tonight, so I'm doing sort of a keep the home fires burning because I didn't want people to forget it. It was our time slot. So I'm doing a memorial, I guess you could say, in Ian C.'s honor, solo live chat. But frankly, I have nothing planned. It's going to be, I call these general Q&A. So basically anything you guys want to talk about, read into the record, whatnot. Any questions? My specialty, by the way, is a vintage TV, vintage music, and vintage movies, sci-fi, horror, a specialty. So anything along those lines we can talk about. Or again, I would say, bring your own topic. Anything you guys want to talk about, I'd be happy to talk about. David says, biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. Which, of course, is a Weird Al song from... Not in 3D. I think it was the album after that. It was the biggest ball of string in Minnesota. That's where they picked up a hitchhiker named Bernie who stole their camera. I am a huge Weird Al fan, as you probably deduced by this stage. Tug says, the like has been smashed. Smash that like, daddy-o. Fight the power. Gary Carpenter says she would too. Oh, she would like to talk to Lance. That's very, very nice. Lance Chavin says, hit that like button, folks. I dare you. Zubik says, so I assume ENC is still enjoying his honeymoon. Good for him. Not only that, but they have a lot of just lot of like odds and ends to take care of. As far as like who's moving in with who and that type of thing. He's just got such a full plate. But I'm sure he's enjoying his new marital bliss. Gary Carpenter says, LC, I found her on Facebook. Tug says, Weird Al. Yes, definitely Weird Al. Keithy says, please tell your Chinese food chicken story. As you wish. Okay, I actually told the story earlier on one of my top 10 dad jokes posts. But true story. Years ago, I was working in a Chinese restaurant. I know, you're gonna keep a few Quilo around. It gives the place atmosphere. Anyway, I was bartending at this Chinese restaurant, and it was early afternoon, and I had a few of the regulars at the bar, and all of a sudden they go, "So Bob, what's with that chicken in the driveway?" And I go, "There's no chicken in the driveway." Yeah, right in your parking lot. There's a chicken walking around. I go, "There's no chicken." And one guy says, "Yeah, what is it, today's special?" I go, "There's no chicken." And then also, this big plate window in the back. And some of the guys started saying, "Bob, look, you can see the chicken." Let there be light. My ceiling light is haunted, by the way. That's another story. And they go, "Look, you can see the chicken through the plate glass window." And I go, "I'm not turning around, guys. You're not getting me that easy." And they go, "No, look, there's a chicken out there." And I go, "I am not looking. You guys aren't getting me." And they're like, look, no, Bob, look. And I go, "Okay, I'm going to look. But if there's no chicken in that driveway, everyone shut off." And I turn around and no shit, there was a chicken in my driveway. Yeah, this was like it was big too. It was like I know Zublake makes fun of me. I said 4 feet. It wasn't quite 4 feet. It was more like 3 feet 6 inches. But it was this really tall, perfectly white chicken just sort of meandering about in my parking lot. And and then I thought for a second, and I remember across the street there was this sort of nature preserve, zoo, petting zoo, little theme park thing. It was called the Zooquarium. It's gone now. It's now a pirate museum. But I'm going back years ago, and I know again they had a lot of like wild animals and a an apiary, but whatever they call a place where you store birds. And I call up and I get this young lady on the phone, and I go, "This is gonna sound like a really stupid question, but are you guys missing a big chicken?" And she, what? And I go, "Here's the situation. I'm at the Chinese restaurant across the street, and there's a big chicken in my parking lot, and I thought it might have been one of yours." And she explains, she goes, "They had what they call guinea hens, and they had an open apiary where the birds can kind of get out and do their own thing during the day, but will always come back at night to their comfort zone to roost." And she goes, "They've gotten out off the property before, but they've never gone across the street. I wonder why the chicken would go across the road." And without missing a beat, I went, "To get to the other side." Girl lost it. Even the guys who were only half paying attention thought it was funny. But true story. Apparently, somebody got the bird, and after I gave them the bird, everyone was happy. So now I am probably hopelessly behind now that I have told that story. But a promise is a promise. And I'm going to try to get back to where I was. Let's just see the biggest ball of string. Okay, so I'm getting close. All right, here we are. So picking up. Oh, let's ask what her Facebook name is. I'm guessing it's Jenny something or other. Gary Carver says, honeymoon. Interesting. Doing a little Artie Johnson. Very interesting. Dave says via the UHF soundtrack. Thank you. Cancel. I'm sorry. I think I may have just blocked somebody. If I did, I'm very sorry. I was scrolling up and it said, "Do you want to block?" And I'm like, cancel. But if I block you, please, whoever you are who I block, if I blocked anyone, 1,000 apologies. Mike Silva's here. He says, "Oompa Loompa Doopity Doo. I've got the perfect puzzle for you. Yoompa Loompa Doopity Deal If you're wise, you'll listen to Eel. It's me, but I was trying to keep the Ryan scheme. Oh, Mike Silva loves the movie UHF. Oh, and Mike, welcome to the party, of course. Oh, and GR likes the movie as well. Mike says Princess Leia Organa sung to the tune of Star Wars theme. A day takes us through the darkness. A day that leads us into light. A day that we're celebrate. Yeah, it's from that hideous, horrible, hideous Star Wars Christmas movie, which I still haven't seen. And we all know that story. And I'm not telling it again because every time I do, my mother gets mad at me. Zubrlik says, was it Foghorn Leghorn? I say boy. Holy Mystery Men and Monsters in the Series says, holy moly, Thrash is on. Mystery Men and Monsters, I was just talking about you yesterday. I am so psyched you're here. You have a tendency to show up, say hi, and then disappear. Please stick around for at least a brief period this evening, but welcome to the party. A lot of people saying hi to Mike, Mystery Men and Monsters. Shanina says, I'm a chicken hawk and you're a chicken. I'm a chicken hawk and you're a chicken. I love that subplot. Remember when he convinces the chicken that the dog is in fact the chicken? Keithy says, Hooper says Uncle Thrash is the best and loves the chicken jerk joke. Suri's killing me. Softly with her song. Jira says, at least it wasn't a yellow cat in the Chinese restaurant parking lot. An old man cow story. Yellow cat. I know red cat is slang for a panda bear. Yellow cat. I'm going to look up yellow cat because something tells me there's a story there. And I just jumped again. Ken, welcome to the series. Says, good evening, Bob. Tug says, I have to go back to lurking mode while I eat dinner. More than understand. Say hello to your wife and son from all of us. Zen Dwayne says, I'm still here. Goods. Mystery Men and Monsters says, tell more stories. Talk about the first monster movie you remember watching. The first monster movie I remember watching. Wowzers. It's funny that you mentioned. Tom the Hungry Jerk is here. He says, hi guys. He has to listen from work, so he kind of comes and goes. Liz Gibbons says, I'm the only wrench in here. Yeah, actually, Lance, do me a favor. Go into your wrench mode and see if anyone got blocked. That'll take the guesswork out. Everyone who was here seems to still be here. But keep me posted. Garrett Kemper says Star Wars Christmas special was pretty good. I've heard it was terrible, but I've never actually had a chance to see it. Mike says, Gary, it's a terrible but watchable movie. Oh, Mike Silva says, look what happened to me. I can't believe it myself. Suddenly I'm upon top of the world. Should have been somebody else. Believe it or not, I'm not home. And moving forward, Zublik says, I agree, Gary. It's a time capsule of the 70s. David says, making your way in the world today takes everything you got. The Cheers theme. This seems to be the theme for tonight. Old TV jingles. But let's see. One of my earliest memories as a child, and this had to have been, we're going back to like 71. My dad worked very, very long hours when I was a kid, but always had Saturdays off. And his ritual was he would get up and watch Saturday morning cartoons with me. Maybe not straight off the gate, but when he woke up, we'd have breakfast together and watch cartoons. And one of our rituals was, particularly on rainy Saturdays, there was this show called Creature Feature that would come on, and we would watch old schlocky horror movies together. And I think that's actually where I got my love for vintage sci-fi horror, which lasts to this day, some 50 years later. The wonderful memories of me watching these old schlocky movies with my dad that were old even back then. I think the first one I saw was something called Phantom from 20,000 Feet, which was a guy in this big rubber suit who was like a sea monster and 8 divers. Godzilla, of course. I fell in love with Godzilla as a child. Um, oh, also something called Atomic Submarine, which was about aliens that crash on Earth and try to get these crew of an atomic submarine to do their bidding. But yeah, so either Atomic Submarine or Beast Phantom from 20,000 Fathoms was the first, and then Godzilla was somewhere there because, like I said, I'm in love with Godzilla to this day. Lance says all good, Thresh. Good. So nobody is in fact blocked yet. Anyway, moving along. Oh, Keith E says message retracted. Gary Carpenter says Z. I can't believe it was B. Arthur. I can't believe that B. Arthur was in that. Yes, the Star Wars special. Keith E is be getting away from Gary Carpenter. Zublik says maybe B was a Star Wars geek, quite possible. Mike says the new show came out. I was sorely disappointed that producers had modernized it too much. I mean, come on, in the original 1974 classic Land of the Lost is better than the awful 91 remake. Yeah, we were talking about that not long ago. Yes, I remember when it came back. I was in college and it was actually terrible. And look who's here. Danny Staten. He says, greetings from South Carolina. Yeah, great to see you, Danny. Danny, you got to tell us when you're planning another a live chat. I watched it in replay today, but I would have loved to have checked it out. So yeah, let us know if you're planning another live chat in the not too distant future. Gary Carpenter doesn't know if she was a Star Wars geek or not. B. Author, of course. Mike Silva has a question for Gary. Which is better, 1971 Willy Wonka movie or its remake? I think I know what Gary's going to say. Then Dwayne says, you're right, to Gary Carpenter. Zublik says, I can see B dressing up in a Wookiee costume. Gary Carpenter says, Mike, the remake, I think I've only seen the original movie once. Oh, I called that one wrong. Liz Javen says, Guy Pluto has Godzilla channel 24/7. Wow. A lot of people saying hi to Danny. Mike Silva says, Gary, I was talking about the 1991 remake, not the other awful remake from 2009. There was a 91 remake of Willy Wonka? Why don't I recall that? Danny says, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I didn't know I was doing that one. Ah, okay. No problem, no problem. Well, like I say, I'll keep an eye out for when you do your next one because love to join in. Gary Governor says, I did too. Thrasher, King Kong versus Godzilla. It was my first time. I can't remember what the first Godzilla movie I saw was. I don't think it was King Kong versus Godzilla, but I love King Kong versus Godzilla. Probably my favorite of the original. Sean in his Hey, Sean, what's going on? Sean says 1971 original all the way. Denny says it was the DeFazio fault. You see the whole video I sent up. It was a DeFazio fault. You see the video I sent up. DeFazio fault? Well, bad DeFazio, it's all your fault. Lance Chapin says Gene Wilder for the win. Yes. I love the Gene Wilder one as well, by the way. M says to Thrash Pundo, that's me. Favorite Saturday morning cartoons, top 5. Funny you mentioned that. I actually did that with Dave on Dave's channel. I'm gonna throw it. I'm probably gonna get a couple of them wrong, but I'm gonna do of all time, and in no particular order. I'm gonna say Thundar. I'm gonna say Star Wars. I'm gonna say Planet of the Apes. I'm gonna say the Super Friends. And can I say Land of the Lost? It wasn't animated. It was my favorite Saturday morning show of all time. If you want strictly cartoons, let's go with the Herculoids. And Gary Carpenter says, Sean, I like Johnny Depp. And then he says, Thrasher, you've got relatives here in North Carolina. I certainly do. My father and brother live in Raleigh with my nieces and nephews. And my sister lives in, I always get this wrong. I apologize to North Carolinians. Williamstown or Williamsboro, Berg. It's a beautiful town. My sister has sent me pictures. It's this beautiful town out on the coast. She lives there. Dave says, my Halloween movies in the 80s, not remakes. Zen Dwayne says, what was your favorite Harryhausen movie, guys? I enjoyed the original Clash of the Titans, Sinbad, Eye of the Tiger, Jason the Argonauts. Danny says, I sent you a video on your phone. Oh, was that with that message? I haven't had a chance. I've been running around today. I haven't had a chance to check my messages. I was going to call you later. Thanks for reminding me, actually. I'll check it out, Dan. Thanks. Sean Innes says, I don't hate Depp. Wilder is better in the role. Jenny said, I created a new mixed drink. Oh, love it. Love it. Is that what the video is? Like I said, I promise I'll check it out. Sorry, I was running around today again. Zublik says, my first would be Johnny Quest. Love Johnny Quest. Oh, look, Tracy's here. Says, hey, all. A lot of people saying hi to Tracy. Oh, GR also likes Johnny Quest. Oh, Rocky and Bullwinkle. I saw them on afternoons after they stopped being Saturday mornings. The Flintstones and the Jetsons. Those are good. Gary Carpenter says, Sean, I think Depp had a better costume. And David says, I always wanted to go to Mount Arias, Tennessee. Oh, and Mike said, like Shazam. Tug says, I ate a watch. That's how you get ticks. It was time consuming, but I went back for seconds. I'm with you. You're crazy kid. Mike Silva says, Gary, yeah, but Johnny was annoying. Wow, snap. Gary Ever says, what did you think of the Yogi Bear movie? I don't remember the movie. Zublik says, Jason and the Argonauts. Jason and the Argonauts is the one I remember seeing first. I remember I'd gone to visit my aunt and uncle with my cousins. I don't know if I told you I had this cousin, Chris, who I absolutely idolized when I was a kid. He was 5 years older than I was, so he was like an adult to me. And he had this really cool room set off the house. It was like, I think it had been like a 3-season room that they had converted into an extra room. But it was like a really cool setup room. And I used to bunk with him, and he had this own little portable television. And I had gone up to see them it had to have been Christmas. And Jason and the Argonauts was on. And I remember being with the Hydra. As far as what my favorite Harryhausen movie was, I got to see Clash of the Titans in the theaters. It was my mother. My mother had this little tradition when I was a kid. On the last day of school, if my report card was good, and this year it was, it always was good, but you know what I'm saying? If you're good, one of my little rewards was I got to take a friend or two to the movies, and I could have my favorite dinner and then go out to see a movie. And I had orange soda and pizza, and then my two for Tom's one of them. I don't think he's here tonight. But we got to go see Clash of the Titans. That was for 7th grade. That might be my favorite Harryhausen movie. Although there's not a bad one in the bunch. And of course, the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms is the predecessor to Godzilla, so you have to love that. Let's see. Lance Chafin mentioned Space Ghost in the Hercules. Yeah, I love me my Space Ghost. Mike Silva says the Banana Splits show. Speaking of Barry White, Barry White wrote music for the Banana Splits? But I saw the Banana Splits on weekday afternoons when it was syndicated. I don't remember it from being on Saturday mornings. I do remember the Beatles cartoon. My dad and I used to watch that Saturday mornings. Gary Carpenter says, Mike, he was better than Wilder, but I liked the costume. I was still talking about the Willy Wonka. Lance Javid says the new Zoo review. I love the new Zoo review. Freddie the Frog, Henry the Hippo, and Charlie the Owl. Mike Silva says Adam Ant. Yes. Let's just see. Oh, look who's here. Emily Miller's here. Says, hey, y'all. Sorry I'm late. Emily, you are right on time. It's always on time when you get here. Oh, Gary Carpenter also liked the Banana Splits. Dave says, I meant to go to North Carolina where Andy Griffith started. Yeah, it did start there now that you mentioned it. Shannon says, hey, Emily, welcome. Glad you could make it, as are we all. A lot of people saying hi to Emily. Tracy says, that's it, Robert. I'm coming to your restaurant for some veal marsala. We don't do veal marsala. The veal that we got, we do veal parmesan. It's already breaded. We could do it in marsala. I don't think it would work. We have a phenomenal chicken marsala. But if you really want to try our best chicken dish, it's the chicken Sorrentino. And if you follow me on Facebook, I periodically forward/share post of the restaurant there. It's the Parm Italian Table. And now remember, Ken, you keep saying next time you guys come to Cape Cod, you're going to check us out. It's right on Route 28 in Yarmouth. Zuplex says nothing. He jumped off the page. Hang on, I'll find you. Here we are. I remember the first movie, Gary, which was good, about Yogi Bear leaving Jellystone National Park looking for his girlfriend. It was enjoyable for a little kid like me. Wasn't the one where he builds the ark, Yogi's Ark, wasn't that a feature length as well, by the way? I have vague recollections. And Max Silva says, Godzilla! Yes, Godzilla. Keithy says, just have to say, Gene Wilder had greater death. I assume you mean depth. But he did have a greater death than Johnny Depp. Oh, and Danny is giving us links. Thank you, Danny. As always, thank you. A lot of people saying hello to Emily. Tug says, I'm going to say Earth versus the Flying Saucers. It's the quintessential golden age sci-fi cheese. And you know that was Ron Fries who did the voices for that, right? Shannon says, Keith, Siri is messing with you tonight, but we know what you meant. Yes, we all do what you mean, even though I read it phonetically. Ziblik says, you could include the Beatles. I would always include the Beatles. Mike Silva says, good Geek Invaders from Mars, 1953. Love that movie. Emily Miller says, hey to everybody saying hey. Hey is for horses. Gary Cameron says, Herculoid, Space Ghost, and Friends, Captain Marvel, and the Sentinels, and Plastic Man. I remember Plastic Man. And Tug is thanking Denny for the link. Dave says, Mount Avery in North Carolina. Tug says, Mike, I'm reviewing that movie in a month or so. Really? The original Invaders from Mars? I love that movie. Emily says, what was the question? That's a good question. We've had several. Mike Silva says, in another dimension, another time, another space, a parallel universe was fallen on its face when out of the chaos. Who else could be but the animal adventures of space? Bucky, Captain Bucky O'Hare. I just remember the theme of the Bucky O'Hare, when your resignation has fallen a bit. I actually have the comics that short-lived cartoon series is based on. It was actually I believe it was called Echoes of Future Past. It also has an incredibly good, although not complete, adaptation of Brian Aldiss' Hot House. It was adapted into something called Home. But the Bucky O'Hare, it came out at the time when Mutant Turtles and stuff were really big. The story is really, really solid. In the cartoon is a little on the hokier side because it's made for kids. But the idea, it's almost like Colossus, the Forbin Project. What happens is the Toads initially aren't evil. they're kind of like us. Well, so maybe they are evil. Ooh, but no, the Toads, they're just hedonistic. They like their free time. They don't like to work long hours. They're obsessed with creature comforts and toys. So what they do is they build a supercomputer to take care of all the little day-to-day operations so that they have more fun time and can enjoy their little gadgets. Well, the supercomputer decides, well, to have a really good quality of life, you need resources. And the best way to get resources is to conquer the galaxy. Typical fashion imperialism. And the way it does it, it sends subliminal messages to the Toads. So they just sort of follow along but it's their own capitalism which really triggers their expansionist program. In the cartoon, I believe Complex just takes them all over and turns them into slaves. But yes, I do love Bucky O'Hare. A lot of people like Space Ghost. What was the question of the evening? Oh, I thought somebody asked you a question. Yes, Emily, it is just genuine Q&A for this evening. I really didn't have much planned. I didn't want ENC to lose the space, so I decided to sort of take. Oh, I did it again. Hold on. There. When I was scrolling down, I hit that little blurb on the side, which gives me the option to report or block or anyway. Danny Stain has given us a link. Thank you. GR says I also watched The Monkeys, also on Saturday. It came on after the cartoons. My mother used to say she used to watch The Monkeys when she was giving me my bottle, but I of course watched them in syndication. Oh, Emily says thank you, Lynn. So yeah, so Emily, anything you want to add to the general Q&A? We're pretty much just talking. Most of the conversations are about old Saturday morning shows and old movies. Terrell Eugene Bellinger is here. He says, "Hey Thrash, happy 4th of July week." Yes, Teb, happy 4th of July to you. Great you could be here. And Tracy says, "Veal Parm is great." That's my game show. Veal or no veal. You won. Remember, on Cape Cod, there is no veal. That's why the sharks eat seal. And when that's lost its appeal, shark steaks will replace every meal. Ein, zwei. Well, that's more Oktoberfest. So Gary Gabler says, Clash of the Titans, Earth versus the Flying Saucers, Golden Voyage of Sinbad, all amazing Harryhausen movies. So Blake says, favorite Saturday morning cartoon and Ray Harryhausen films. Not necessarily Ray Harryhausen, just old classic sci-fi and horror. But Ray Harryhausen certainly contributed to that. Zen Dwayne says Hong Kong Phooey, who was voiced by Scatman Crothers. He did a lot of voice work towards the end of his career. Probably was getting on in years. And while he was doing Chico and the Man, he could stay fairly active. It's easy to just sit in a chair and do voice work. He was also in Skatebirds and a few other things. Lance Chafin says, happy 4th of July to everyone. Emily says, Tracy, I stopped eating veal when I learned what it was. I can't say I blame you. But we offer it. Gary Carpenter says, Zen. He also did the Harlem Globetrotters. He did! No, oh gosh, you're so right. He did do the voices for the Harlem Globetrotters. Emily says, Zen, I love Scatman. He was great. Liv Chafin says Mr. T.E. did have a short-lived Saturday morning cartoon show and a serial. Gary Carpenter says, happy 4th of July, everyone. Us. So Luke says, I don't know, T-Pawns. I believe Yogi's first film was entitled Hey There, It's Yogi Bear. Oh, first one, definitely. But I think the Yogi's Ark theme show started out, there was a Saturday morning block that would bring it was like a Saturday morning film, and it was just really long cartoons, but they presented it as like a Saturday morning film experience, and I thought I saw it there, but again, I'm going back 50 years. Mike Silva says the day the earth stood still. Yes, Martin Rooney was ill that day, I believe. Zen Dwayne says Scatman also did Meadowlark Lemon on the Harlem Globetrotters cartoon. I think he did a couple voices. Meadowlark definitely, but I think he did a couple voices on that show. David says it's time to play the music's time to. Oh, it's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. Yep, I got it. Fraggle Rock, which I recently found out was MTV's first, not MTV, but I talk HBO's first television show. I knew it was a television show. I knew it was their first. Mike says Cubic the Amazing Cube. Richie Rich. Ed Pac-Man from Lance. And Limber says Gary, that's where he heard it. Mike Silva says awesome pawns instead of awesome sauce. I'm glad you enjoyed. And let's see, Teb says Do you remember Yo Yogi, the short-lived 1981 kidified version of the Yogi Bear that served as one of the last shows to air on NBC Saturday morning cartoon block before they chose to go all live action? I don't. I don't. I was actually in college at that time. Didn't watch a lot of Saturday morning cartoons. Sometimes, if I woke up while I was nursing a hangover, I'd put Saturday morning shows on. I did catch a few episodes around this time of the short-lived Attack of the Killer Tomatoes show, but I don't remember Yo Yogi's. Pardon me, I'm a little parched. Gary Cameron says, I don't remember what the first Harryhausen movie I saw. Oh, that's okay. I mean, I'm sure you've seen most of them over the years. Shannon says, Emily Miller, me too, have not had veal for 40 years. David says, dance your cares away, worries for another day. Let the music play down in Fraggle Rock. Work your cares away. Dance, yes, 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 Fraggle Rock. Lance James says Battle of the Planets. I love that show. Although I love the Japanese version better. It was so much more violent. Denny says Yogi Bear's first appearance was on the Huckleberry Hound show in 1958, voiced by Dawes Butler. Dan for the win. Thank you very much. Emily says, y'all have better memories than me. I don't remember what I did yesterday. Oh, my short-term memory is shot. In fact, I can't remember what the last question was. It's my long-term memory. If you ask me what I used to eat for breakfast 40 years ago, 50 years, let's go 50 years. 50 years ago, I could probably tell you what my morning routine was. But as far as what I did yesterday, Mike Silva says Terrell remembers seeing some episodes. And Gary Carpenter just jumped off the page. So I'm going to try to find that. I'm a little far behind, but not as far as I thought I was. I will try to catch up. Actually, I'm a lot far behind. Oh, Daryl Johnson's here. He says, Bob, Daryl, other brother Daryl, good to see you. Yes, Battle of the Planets was great. I think that's where I left off. And a lot of people saying hi to Daryl. I'm gonna try to catch up. Tug says, I barely remember breakfast, but my movie trivia knowledge never fades. Mike Silva says Daryl cartoons that were canceled because of Toys, G.I. Joe, Gem, and the holograms, Jace, and the Wheeled Warriors. I didn't know the Wheeled Warriors had toys, a toy line. Just gonna skip down. A lot of people saying hello to Daryl. A lot of people saying hello back. Tug says, I'm a young buck compared to many of you. Pat yourself on the back. So my fave Saturday morning cartoons were the Smurfs and the Transformers. I love me my Transformers. I did. I loved it. I saw the Transformers movie in the theaters. Emily says sharks run out of seals and come the Carolina coast for humans. I thought we were too bony for sharks. Generally speaking, they only attack us by accident. Lynn says Doc from The Shining. Tug says, I am so conflicted about veal parmesan. It's awful to eat veal, but dear Lord, it's so delicious. And deer is another animal that we don't have deer parmesan either. Although we have deers here's on Cape Cod. They actually live in that pond. Well, not in the pond. They live around the pond. Zubik says, Lance, too bad he was killed in the film. Yes, it's always bad when someone's killed in a film. Mike Silva says, Geek Real Adventures of Ghostbusters, Alvin and the Chipmunks, Gravedale. Hi, Camp Candy, Captain in the Game Master, Gem, and the Holograms. Gem is truly outrageous. Emil says, Tug, I switched to eggplant parmesan. An excellent choice. Tug says, sharks don't scare me, but when the jellyfish start coming for us, I would proceed to panic. Shannon says, Tug, I'm used to love But then I saw some awful still pictures that hit hard. Ooh, I can imagine. Oh, Mike says trivia game. Sorry, no trivia game tonight, guys. Just sort of a general Q&A. Lance Javen says Thundar the Barbarian, arguably my favorite Saturday morning cartoon. Oh, and Denny Staten has given us a like. Thank you very much. Edelman says sharks don't scare me either. I never go in the ocean above my waist. Shannon says Emily eggplant rollatini is very good too. I love rollatini. We have it sometimes as a special. Tug says, yeah, Emily, I also eat a lot of eggplant parmesan. You don't have guilt. It's significantly cheaper as a bonus. Yes. Mike Silva says, Emily, ever see Cheers or the TV series Shazam from 1974? I've seen both. Liz Gibbon says, hey, Tug, t-shirt idea, tugboat of reviews. There's actually a restaurant up here called Tugboats. Gary Carver says, Thundar, the Barbarian, and Black Star, good double feature. Mr. Wilkinson says, do you remember Yogi's Ark, Bob? Yeah, in fact, that's what I believe the pilot for Yogi's Ark was actually virtually a feature film length. I believe it was like 90 minutes. I could be wrong, but yeah, I do remember Yogi's Ark. We're on our way to a perfect place. A perfect place. Emily says, wasn't a fan of Cheers, but I've watched Shazam. Let's see. I think I jumped again. Yes, I did. Give me a second. Oh, Amanda Carlin is here. Says, hey, everyone. Mrs. Amanda, how you doing? So wonderful to see you. Thank you very, very much for joining in. And yes, I'm doing a solo show in your husband ENC's honor. Welcome. Glad you could make it. But hang on, I'm a little behind here, so I'm gonna try to catch. Here we are. I'm gonna skip down because again I'm way behind. Texas, nice Lance. I'm starting to work on getting my own merch. Very good. Oh, David May is here. Says I used to love Top Cat. Top Cat. He's an undisputable Top Cat whose intellectual close friends get to call him TC. Provided it's with dignity. John H is here as well. Says I'm amazed HBO ever had any family appropriate programming. I know when I was a kid, asking your parents to get HBO was you might as well. Well, it was considered an adult channel back then. I'm just gonna skip down because again I'm way behind. So if I pass over anybody, please forgive me. Yeah, yes, Bigfoot and Wild Boy. And Johnny says if HBO had Fraggle Rock, they certainly did. Oh, and Tab says the reason NBC canceled all the Saturday morning cartoons in 1991/92 was because they wanted to add more sitcoms to capitalize on the success of Saved by the Bell and expand the Today Show to weekends. I'll buy that. I think sports had something to do with it too. More and more kids were playing outside or playing inside, but with video games, so dads were taking over the TVs. But I think your reason is the most primary. Shona says, let us know when merch is line launches. Very curious what your thoughts are regarding all that. Maybe an off the conversation topic. Not at all. No. We have a fellowship here. We have a group. And like I said, I'm always letting people like promote their channels here on my channel as well. So if you have questions to talk about his channels or anything he's doing, feel free to ask. I'm usually curious myself, actually. Myself says not necessarily the news first HBO show, Terrell. Oh, that was the first. I still think it was Fraggle Rock, but you're probably right. Skipping down. Emily says my memory is attached to significant times. I can't remember TV episode titles, but I remember my grandmother's phone number last used in 1984. That's impressive. Mike Silva says Terrell, California Dream. City guys, hang time, all about us running the halls. TRBC block. A lot of people saying hi to Amanda. Tug says, no matter how much I know about Orson Welles, he's still Omicron in my heart. I know, right? I know, really. Zen Dwayne says, okay, guys, I gotta go. So I'm wishing everybody love, peace, and soul. Peace and Dwayne, thank you so much for joining us. Don't know what I got going on this week. I'm kind of booked a little solo. It's my last week of computer classes. I don't know if I'll have any content this week. I've been meaning to, but I definitely will have another live show next Sunday. Keely says in the 80s, a lot of the veal dishes in New York City were tested as pork instead of you being veal. Big controversy. I can see that. I can definitely see that. Emily says maybe watched 5 episodes of Punky Brewster. Let's see. Gary Carpenter says I watched the original Godzilla movies and cartoons. I love the cartoons too. Les Javen says Amanda, how's Ian? Good question. Mike says seen every episode of Emily Family Channel showed. Oh yeah. Denny says yeah. No trivia. Well, Doug says, I live in the Midwest, so I've eaten a lot of deer and have no compunction about it. They are everywhere. I don't know much about generals. Emily doesn't know much about generals. Well, I know they play the Harlem Globetrotters. Let's just see. GR says, talking about sharks, Jabberjaw, my younger sister liked it. I used to like Jabberjaw. If I remember correctly, his voice was like a Curly from the Three Stooges. Doug says, I know General sells chicken. Nope, I think I just jumped again. Yep, sure did. I'm going to catch up, though, if it kills me. Oh, Dan's here. Dan, the breaking news man. And in trivia, no, sorry, no trivia tonight. Just general Q&A. There will be next Sunday, though, I promise. Here we are. Emily says, Tug, deer are hunted legally, and there's no reason for the meat to go to waste. Garrett Garber says, Charlie Chan and his clan. Oh, and NFL Geek agrees with. Emily Turtle says, from what I know, Congress passing the Children's Television Act of 1990 was the beginning of the end for Saturday morning cartoons on network TV in general. You're probably right. MM says, Thrash Pondo Pons. Didn't Jack Kirby have a hand in creating Thundar? Yes, he did. In fact, there used to be a great documentary right here on YouTube about the behind the scenes of Thundar, and they talk about that as well. Here's another one for speaking of Thundar. I have no proof of this whatsoever, but something tells me had Thundar not been canceled, that may become the toy line that later was attached to He-Man. I mean, He-Man is certainly more buff than Thundar was, but they're kind of two cubs of the same litter, if you follow me. So I think, and He-Man was just a few years later. And while Thundar was post-apocalyptic, He-Man was sort of alternate universe. So they're both high fantasy. So I think if Thundar was still around, all you'd have had to have done is just keep adding new friends for Thundar to work with. Because, it's generally only him, Ookla the Mock, and his really hot princess friend. All you have to do is just keep adding more and more friends. And there were plenty of wizards that could constitute rivals. You could have kept it going indefinitely. So I think Thundar may have actually had a hit toy line if it had just been able to hang out a little bit longer. Lance Jamin says, how about Laugh Olympics? Definitely. I'm going to try to skip down here because I'm way behind. And I think I'm also accidentally snubbing a few people who've been in the chat for a while, but I haven't gotten to them. I mentioned Dan. No trivia, sorry. Wajamin says, hello, everyone. Sorry I'm late. No worries, you are right on time. Let's see. Zuplik says, I am unfamiliar with the law, Terrell, but I know NBC started to move away from cartoons starting in the mid 60s with with their association with the Croft brothers, I believe. Well, there was some act that they were trying to limit the amount of violence in kids programming. And Emily says, no trivia tonight. Yeah, sorry, no trivia tonight. John H. Hey, John H. again. John H. Hey, John H. says, my aunt had HBO in the early 70s and called it garbage. Oh, John H. I've never subscribed myself. Now I have Max. That's how I watched Game of Thrones during the shutdown. Sean says, nope, no trivia yet. Not sure that it's happening tonight, though. Yeah, Sean, sorry, no trivia this evening, just general Q&A. Oh, Danny's giving us a link. Thank you so much. Let's give it to the Star Trek cartoon. Yes, I love the Star Trek cartoon. Keithy says, Retro Girl, Nerd Girl has a special on patriotic movies tomorrow. Unfortunately, I'm working. Please, everyone tell her I said hi if you do end up on her show. But yeah, I won't be able to make it. Doug says, Star Trek, the animated series was awesome. I watched it religiously. It really was. Most Trekkies consider it canon. Gary Carver says, Mighty Mightor, love it. Although I found that on YouTube years later. Same with Dino Boy. I did like Shazam. The Impossibles. I used to watch that when I was visiting my father. My kid brother and I used to watch it together. And Moby Dick. Let's just see what else we get going on here. Gary Carver says Planet of the Apes cartoon. I love the Planet of the Apes cartoon. Tracy says, I can't wait for my t-shirt. Good luck. I had to wait for 3 weeks for this one. Tug says, my son wants to watch National Treasure tomorrow. That's cool. John H says, I saw most of those TNBC shows, and I was in my 20s then. Gary Carver mentions Mr. T. Oh, anyone wants to know if National Treasure is streaming. And Mike Silva says, John, what was your favorite? And Liz wants to know, Tracy, what color did you get? And Tracy, the color shirt you picked out. There's 3 different colors. I think I'm caught up, almost. Not quite. Here, actually, not quite. But I'm going to kind of race through these. Oh! Stephen, Life and Settings, he goes, pork chops and applesauce. Yeah, pork chops and applesauce. Skip is here. Scott, how you doing, man? Says Ron Unprepared is trying to convert us. Uncle Joe. Oh, Dan says Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. Loved it. I love that show. Duskin says, I'm not on TikTok. Oh, Monk Silver mentions the Incredible Hulk series. Big Guys 45 is here. Says, just curious. I can't find your TikTok at all. I'm just wondering, that's all. Wow, I was way behind, actually. But I'm just going to try to catch up here. By going backwards. Big Guy says, good news. I'm finally over 600 followers on my TikTok account. Fun stuff. Let's just see. A lot of people saying hi to Big Guys and Scott. So it says no love for George of the Jungle. Yes, of course there is. Emily says, I'm rewatching The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina right now. I saw 1 or 2 episodes and wasn't able to keep up with it. I should try to watch it if it's still on. It was a good show. Okay, so I've skimmed through the backlog. If I missed anybody's, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't realize how far behind I was. If I skipped anyone's comments, please forgive. Feel free to repost. Denny Staten has given us another link. Dan says The Lost Saucer. Oh, I love me my Lost Saucer. Big S 45 says Ferris Bueller's Day Off is free on YouTube for a limited time. Good to know. Emily says, big guy, most of those are from folks wanting me to go live. It'll never happen. Steve says, Tracy, fractured history and more. Yes, that's her new channel. And she's saying, yeah, no trivia tonight. And yes, I don't know. And yeah, I just didn't have a chance to do trivia for today. Sorry about that. And here we go. Yeah, I am caught up. Doug says, LOL, Emily, I like how unapologetic you are about them. Obviously, respect and that sort of thing. Johnny says, from TNBC, I guess, SBTB, but I did like the running the halls while it lasted. It was different from the others, one camera laugh track, so it could do more stunts and location shooting. Dave says, quiz what city in California Weird Al is from? San Francisco. Let's just guess. Oh, and Steve is thanking Danny for giving him a link. And I jumped again. Oh, I was so close. Oh, Linwood. Thank you, Dave. Linwood, California. Duskim says, Thrash. See, we never have that problem with getting behind in the chat. Thrash, you should try to stop being so amazing, and then you'll never have the issue of trying to catch up. You gotta be you. Scott, thank you so much. It's the curse of everybody loving to talk to me, I suppose. But no, I do try to stay on top of things. Gary Cameron says dinosaurs, tiger sharks, thundercats, and silverhawks. Zubik says, T-Pawns, when are you going to do the next comic book reading? Someone else asked me that, by the way. Someone else. You know what? I'll try to do it this week. This week is really tough. It's my last week at computer classes, but I will try to do a wretched recap. The funny thing is, the last time I said, does anybody want, I did the suggestion page, the community page, and I said, what would everybody like me to do? And I said, more sci-fi content, another creepy classic, more top 10 jokes, and wretched recap. And the wretched recap came in bottom last. So I didn't think you guys actually wanted another retro recap. Although I was watching some of my old ones, and I got to say, you, Zuplex, and Mystery Men and Monsters really ate those up. So Doug says, we can't let him actually catch up. Whatever would he do? I would twiddle my thumbs because I wouldn't have anything to try to catch up from. But haha, I think I'm caught up. So anyway, I'll pick up here with Johnny says Weird Al's from Linwood. And I remember Linwood from Lost. I Lost on Jeopardy. I love that song. Gary Carpenter says Dr. Shrinker, Wonderbug, and Magic Mondo. David says, what number is Weird Al famous for? I don't know. A music number? Many, I would guess. Mike Silva says, Terrell, it beeped up NBC Saturday mornings. Steve's giving us a thumbs up. There's shelling in the background. Emily says, thank you, Tug. Steve is easier to type than Sad Life. Jonathan says, Emily Miller, first host of Blues Clues. Tracy says, anybody seeing fireworks tomorrow? They canceled fireworks in my town. There's something called the Piper Clover, which is a bird that gets scared by fireworks. Big Guy says, I'm probably not going to do any celebration for 4th of July tomorrow. I got to work anyway. Flipbook says, so how does Nickelodeon still broadcast SpongeBob SquarePants? Probably because they're making a lot of money on it. I met Tom Kenny once. I don't know if I ever told you guys that. Emily says, trying to love that, Steve. JR says, kids may have learned the alphabet and numbers from Sesame Street, but Looney Tunes taught us how to get revenge on our enemies. I love it, Gary. I don't even know if it's Gary. GR, I love it. Mike Silva says, outside my window. Caregiver says, Mommy's alive. Dave says, the number 27. I did not realize that. I will take your word for it. Oh, Big Guy says 42, right? Doug says, good night, Gimp. I don't know if Gimp has to take off, but anyway, Steve, it was, Scott, it was so great having you with us tonight. So, yes, Scott, Gimp, thank you for joining. Lynn says, phone is dying, gotta go. I'll see you next Sunday. Take care of yourself, Lynn. Thanks for all your help. Other people say good night. Sublick says, the question is, Big Guy, how can you interpret anything educational from SpongeBob SquarePants? Emily says, fireworks aren't the same since the kids are grown. Yes, I can imagine. Oh, Mr. Man just says, Thrash Pond Puns, you'll be glad to know I've started reading Hot House. I'm on chapter 8. Tell me what you think of it so far. As you guys all know, Brian Aldiss' Hot House is my favorite novel of all time. Brian Aldiss sci-fi novel of all time, and M asked me which Brian Aldiss books I could recommend, and that was the one I opened up with, and I'm so glad that. And I just pinned Terrell. At least I didn't block him. I pinned Terrell's message. The problem is I can't see it now, but I did pin it. Here it is. The Children's Television Act mandated that all children's programming were required to feature educational content. Mike Silva was right. It ruined Saturday mornings. Let's forget the rise of cable. For some reason, fortunately, I didn't report it as spam or block it, but when I was trying to scroll, I accidentally hit that as pinned. So now you are pinned. And Gimp says, Tracy, we are in downtown Portland, and I will be watching them since we are right here. Usually, I unleash my own arsenal. That sounds fun. And he goes on to say, let's not forget the rise of cable. Yes, I kind of figured what you meant. We'll just see George of the Jungle from David. So is correct. Emily, jet fighters also operate underwater. They do. Emily says, is not Mike. I saw it on SpongeBob. Touches, how would we know about the hash slinging slasher without SpongeBob? I brought my own spatula. And so Meister Men says, so far I like it quite a bit. Glad you're enjoying. Well, sometime we'll have to talk about the moral of the story. We'll just see what we're doing here. Shana says to Thrash Pondo, De Palma Italian table. I'll have to road trip out. I'm going to keep pinning you. I'm so sorry. I'll have to road trip out there someday, maybe in the fall or off season. Sean, please do. And when you get there, ask for Bob. I work every day except Sunday and Monday. Ask for Bob, please. David says, red rum. I'm just going to skim down because I'm almost caught up. Big Guy says, David, are you on TikTok at all? Just curious. Tug says that was worth it just to hear Thrash say, hash slinging slasher. Nosferatu. I love that episode. When I ran the video store, we're going back 25 years now. When I ran the video store, 20-ish and change. Anytime there was a new SpongeBob, I used to put it in the store, play, and we look because the kids loved it. We'd bring the kids in, and they would of course buy videos. And I loved the hash sling slasher. That one in chocolate. My two favorites. Laughing Side ending, or Steve, I should say, to save Red Rum to David, of course. Dan's giving us another link. David says Shining, got it. Zerblick says Murder Life. Emily says Tug, you're in timeout. I assume she means figuratively and not literally. Doug says, oh, you mean Shining. Shh. I don't want to get sued. The shitting. You want to get sued. Mike says, surf dudes with attitudes, kind of groovy, laid back mods, skies above, sand below, good vibrations, feeling mellow. And David says, okay, no. Steve says, here's Johnny. And Tracy sent me a few emojis. Mike says, "Don't wake me up. Don't want to stop." Tug says, "That's dangerous, Emily. I shouldn't be left alone with my imagination." Oh, thank you, Teb. I was waiting for one of these. Teb asks, which criminally underrated 90s show do you prefer better? Homicide Life on the Streets, Chicago Hope, News Radio, Third Rock from the Sun, Spin City, or Just Shoot Me? Homicide Life on the Streets. Although Third Rock from the Sun and News Radio were great. Um, and I did like Just Shoot Me, but Homicide Life on the Streets was best. Gary Carter says National Treasure was great as the second one. Big Guys 45 says I might be back later. Bye for now, everybody. Good night, Big Guys. We'll see you later. Blue says Third Rock. John H says California Dreams theme song. I thought it sounded familiar. Steve says, "Give me a kiss to build. Give me a kiss to build a dream on. For my imagination." I only kind of know the words. I love Louis Armstrong, but I don't know that song particularly well. Tug says Third Rock from the Sun always makes me laugh. Personal favorite when you find out that their leader is William Shatner, and he comes up for like a shakedown visit, and when you know who I'm talking, the leader of the group asks him how his flight was. He goes, "It was weird. There was a strange thing on the wing the whole way over here." And the leader goes, "I had the exact same experience," because, of course, William Shatner had it in the Twilight Zone TV series. And person whose name eludes me, but you know what I'm talking about, from Third Rock from the Sun, was in the feature film. And I'm just skipping down. Roger Bean also like Third Rock. Simple says, "Bye, big guy." Oh, bye, big guy. Trey says, "Hope. I hope that you will see me rub it on Thursday night. Depends on what time you're airing. I'll be at work till probably 10 o'clock. If I miss it live, I'll watch it in replay. Promises." Keith is Third Rock from the Sun when they were collecting the Beanie Babies. Subuk says, "You are going to Cape Cod, Tracy." It's a long way from Florida to Cape Cod. John Lithgow, thank you. Thank you. I had a major mental block with John Lithgow. And Ted gives another question. He says, which criminally underrated 80s TV show do you prefer better? It's a Living, Simon Simon, Riptide, Hardcastle McCormick, Matt Houston, Mr. Belvedere, Small Wonder, Head of the Class. I loved Head of the Class, and I had a weak spot for Mr. Belvedere. I didn't watch a lot of the other shows, I'm afraid. Trey says, "Nope, my video live Zuper." Oh, yes, that's what she meant, by the way. Although you're always welcome to come visit Cape Cod, Tracy, or David, for that matter. Tug says, "Oh, crud, I'm going to have to go soon." Actually, I think we're probably going to be wrapping it up in a couple minutes anyway, so don't feel too bad. John H says, "Dick Solomon was the lead for the Third Rock. He played by John Lithgow." Yes, Dick Solomon was the character, but I couldn't think of John Lithgow to save my life. Thank you so much, John H. Really appreciate it. And I'm just going to skip down here. We like Mr. Belvedere as well. So anyway, Mike Silva says, "Terrell, 80s cartoon gem, Hemmon, Joe, Heathcliff, Garfield, Muppet Babies." Talk about setting more cartoons. Yeah, I think we're gonna pretty much wrap it up here, guys. I want to thank you guys for your input. I want to thank you guys for your huge additions to the comment section. You guys are great. I love the input. I love the fun. I love the fellowship. Even without trivia, we were able to have a great time. Thank you, all of you, for joining us. Even usually I try to get at least 20 people in these. Even when we get the teens, you guys are so interactive that you still keep it going the whole time, and I'm just so impressed. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for being here. I'll keep you posted as to when Ian's going to be joining us again. I will definitely see you guys next Sunday. I will try to put out some content this week, but if not, I will definitely see you this coming Sunday, 7:30, of course. And until then, be good, be safe, be careful. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.